Greetings and hi everyone, my name is Intan Shazani Hazira binti Subki with the metric number of 79576. I am from Group 3 and we are going to talk about microtransaction in the gaming world. In the last few decades, video game industries have undergone significant changes in the way they make money. The publisher's fundamental revenue idea was to sell all the game's material at once, with the customer paying for the full game, a pay-to-play approach, a premium price sale. As a result, the customer received the entire game while the publisher was fully rewarded. Copies of game may come in form of cartridges, disc, or even digital downloads. However, the overproduction of video game, along with the market preferences changes, prompted publishers to take different strategy, offering partial content sales rather than the full game. The goal of this strategy is to make the core game more accessible, if not free, while charging for any supplementary content and expansion. Free-to-play or freemium games in gaming jargon and any future payment are referred as microtransactions.
Hi, my name is Lydia Bugambunyao and my metric number is 79924. In terms of service, games are generally referred as a broad category of online games that offer in-game content on a subscription basis. The aim is to entice players to purchase items in-game, also known as microtransaction, which require players to spend their money in tiny sums, typically between 4.40 Ringgit to 22.01 Ringgit, to have direct access or the hope of gaining access to virtual products or cash within the game. Some in-game purchase choices may be seen as predatory, since some aspects of the game product look like gambling products, even if they did not meet the exact legal definition. For instance, under a specific circumstances, a system that actively adjusts in-game item price and value based on individual player analytics, such as purchasing tendency, available funds, item preferences, inventory, which are primarily implemented by developers to serve monetary goals like maximizing revenue and which lack basic transparency to the player, may have the potential to exploit certain types of vulnerable players. Hence, better understanding of the gaming industry and how monetization evolved over the years are becoming more pivotal, as players who are blinded by the bright side of a game may overlook the system and structures that exploit their money and time. My team will be presenting the topic of this paper, which is microtransactions in video games. The goal is to determine how Karl Marx's theories on capitalism in Das Kapital apply to the video game transactions. The first part explores the notion of capitalism and Karl Marx's opinions on it. The second part, the subject of microtransactions in video game, is explained and relates to the philosophy school of thought chosen. The third part, the data from the questionnaire, is analyzed.
Hi, my name is Nur Shaira binti Lubis and my metric number is 80711. Now I'll be presenting the theoretical framework. Capitalism is the dominant mode of production, distribution, and exchange in the world today. Capitalism is often thought of as an economic system in which private individuals can own and control property according to their needs, interests, and demand, while supplying freely set prices in markets in a way that can serve the best interests of society. As Adam Smith, the 18th century philosopher and father of modern economics, said, it is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their own regards to their own interest. When two different parties make an exchange transaction, this is because they have their own interests in the outcome. One cannot get what they desire without knowing what the other people want. Thus, this is what self-interest rationale that can lead to economic prosperity. Capitalism first appeared as the dominant economic system during the 16th century, and it is no coincidence that the acceleration in living standards in the world today can be traced to the same era.
Hi, my name is Akilmi Mustafa 78869 and I am going to continue the theoretical framework. Capitalism has contributed to a rapid acceleration in living standards in the industrialized world. The essential feature of capitalism is the motive of an individual to make a profit. As Adam Smith discerns in this book, the striving of individuals for their own material advantage gives positive social and economic consequences for the whole community. In capitalism, private property owned by the capitalist that is produced from the capital goods is different from property that is government-owned or shared by a community. Private property such as artistic and intellectual creations, lands and buildings give the owner the right to use it however they want. As capitalism spread to China and other less developed countries, it seems likely that it will play a similar role elsewhere. However, the impact is not entirely beneficial. Why? It is because the rising prosperity has been accompanied by various manifestations of acute social injustice and environmental degradation. Now, let's move on to the other part.
Hello, my name is Valentino Anacek, matrix number 81418, and today I'll be presenting about Karl Marx. A German philosopher named Karl Heinrich Marx, or more known as Karl Marx, has published various well-known books. One of it is Das Kapital, also known as Capital, a critique of political economy. Marx's point of view regarding capitalism was compiled in these books. Marxism theory is a social, political, and economic philosophy named after Karl Marx. It examines the impact of capitalism on labor, productivity, and financial improvement, and argues for the employee revolution to overturn capitalism in the desire of communism. Karl Marx saw capitalism as a progressive historical stage that will eventually decay due to inner conflicts and be followed by socialism. Marxism posits that the struggle between social classes defines economic relations in a capitalist economy that will inevitably lead to revolutionary communism.
Hello, my name is Nur Shafiqah Nabila binti Farul and my metric number is 80698. Today I will be presenting about the capitalist society. The capitalist society is made up of two classes, which are the bourgeoisie or business owners who control the means of production and the proletariat or workers whose labor transforms raw commodities into valuable economic goods. Marx observed that the capitalism is a historically specific system characterized by generalized commodity exchange, so naturally, the starting point of his inquiry is the analysis of commodities, the most elementary form of the wealth and capitalist society. Next is the labor theory of value. The labor theory of value is a major pillar of traditional Marxian economics which is evident in Marx's books Capital 1867. Marx theories claims that the value of a commodity can be measured by the average number of labor hours required to produce that commodity. By experimenting with different properties of commodities, Marx ended up with the idea that the only economically meaningful property characterizing all commodities is that they are all products of human labor. Unfortunately, Marx's impacts on economic thought has not received the recognition it deserves because of his views of historical character and of capitalist society and his vision of socialism.
Hi everyone, my name is Marsha Azara binti Shahrim and my metric number is 79984. So online games or video games are something that is common today. Not only teenagers play it, but also kids and young adults. Online games today are quite advanced since people who are in business, they can make a lot of money because microtransaction today spreads like wildfire already. So microtransactions are in-game purchases that allows the players to access certain features or offer them special skills, characters, or materials. The purchases are just imaginary. These purchases might cost anything from $0.99 to $99 US, possibly even more. it may give profit to those who are in business, but not for the gamers. So, people said playing games can be addictive and so can microtransactions. Matt Gardner stated in his article, according to a new survey conducted by cybersecurity expert Bulgart and custom PC builder Chillblast, 3/4 of gamers are spending more money on gaming. And nearly 1/5, equivalently 17%, admitted to spending $100 more per month on in-game purchases, new games, hardware, or other related items.
Hi, my name is Atira binti Saud and my metric number is 78907. The temptation to spend money on games or microtransaction is real. Jacob stated that based on the data from the ESA and Statista, that estimate the global average by dividing total video game market revenue for 2018 by total number of players, which is 137.9 billion divided by 2.3 billion, yielding 55.16 billion spent on video games by the typical gamer globally in 2018. Back in 2015, Will Asher published an article regarding a father named Hillman worries about his teenage sons who spend more than $4,500 on FIFA using his credit card without his knowing. His son was a game addict and spending money for him is just easy as clicking a button.
Most people play games through mobile phones, followed by computers or laptops, and the number of people playing games through games consoles is the least, and through deep investment. At the same time, we also made a survey on players' love for game types. We found that the first-person shooter is the most popular game type, such as sandbox games and casual puzzle-solving games, have a small audience. We also found that 71.8% of the players prefer games with both single. Next, we have why players play games. It can be seen that most people still regard games as a choice that can adjust their emotions and make themselves happy. In the following survey, we found an interesting point. Most games don't choose the time of playing games as specified. 17.9% of the players set the time of playing games at night, and a few choose to play late at night. 79.5% of the players choose to play in their free time.
My name is Mark Balang Ananyao with the metric number 79979. First question is, what types of games do the respondents usually download or purchase? About 53.8% opted for free games. Less than 3% of the numbers of our respondents opted for paid games, so maybe they don't prefer free games. And about 43.6% opted for both the free games and the paid games. Where do our respondents usually buy or download their game? About 79.5% opted for online platforms, Steam, Origin, Epic Games. It's very accessible. And then 5.1% opted for in-stores physical copies. They are more comfortable in buying games in physical copies. Maybe they are gamers who use platforms such as the PlayStation or the Xbox. So about 15.4% of our respondents opted for both. Moving on is when do they usually buy their games? 54.3% opted to buy their games during sales. If they are using online platforms such as Steam, throughout the year there will be sales such as the winter sale, summer sale, Black Friday. It is relatively cheaper. And then about 22.9% opted to buy the games after launch. They buy the games right after the launch. And then about 2.8% of our respondents opted to buy the games pre-orders. Next, on the things that they usually spend in game, 12% did not spend anything while playing games. They're just comfortable to play the games without committing to any of the in-game purchases that is offered inside the game. And about 14 people, they usually spend on virtual in-game currencies. So if you play games like Formula 1, F1 coins. And then about 15% opted to spend on cosmetics, play games like Mobile Legends, Dota 2, where you want to customize your heroes or maybe customize your characters. And then about 6 people opted on loot boxes. For example, if you play games like FIFA, spending your real money to open packs. It's quite similar to gambling. And then about 10 people, they opted to progression boost. To play games like Call of Duty, you have like battle pass, won like 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row. Your progression to get better skins, better weapons will be much more faster than the gamers who didn't spend on the progression boost. And then about 12 people, they opted to spend on the downloadable content. So basically just an add-on to the existing game, Forza Horizon or maybe Need for Speed. So the DLCs are usually new cars, new tracks. The next set of questions will be using the Likert scale. So according to the data, about 5 of them disagree, 11 of them are neutral about it, 15 of them agree, and about 8 of them strongly agree that the prices of the games is irrelevant compared to the content offered. So according to the data, about 7 of them are neutral about it, 16 of them agree, and 16 of them as well strongly agree. So according to the data, about 1% strongly disagree about it, 14 of them are neutral, and then the numbers for the ones who agree and strongly agree are the same, which is 12% respectively. So according to the data, 1% strongly disagree, 1% disagree, 12 of them are neutral about it, 14% agree, and then 9 of them strongly agree about the matter. So according to the data, 1% strongly disagree, 6 of them are neutral, 9 agree, and then a majority of 23 people strongly agree about the matter. So according to the data, 1% strongly disagree, 2% disagree, 4 of them are neutral, 13 of them agree, and then about 19 of our respondents strongly agree about the matter. And lastly, the final question of our questionnaire is that we asked for the respondents' suggestions and hopes for the gaming industry in making a more inclusive gaming experience for everyone. So some of the suggestion is that the demand for more development in the virtual reality VR type of games, diminish microtransactions, but make the DLCs that are offered as paid, make the customization for cosmetics in any of the games that offer cosmetic customization as free and they don't have to pay for it. And lastly, the suggestion is that to introduce a spending cap for the gamers according to the age.
So my name is Wu Hanting and I'm an international from China. We learned through the market capital that capitalism has contributed to the industrialization and a rapid rise in the world living standard. However, the negative effect of the capitalism has very serious social unfair and environmental burdens. We analyzed some of the current issues regarding the online games based on market theories of the capitalism, where the game of the microtransactions is real, and learn about the dangers of the online games through some real example. In addition to this, we compiled a questionnaire that reflects people's views on the online microtransaction. Our presentation is over. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.